What's up, everybody? It's the Bipolar Prophet, and welcome back to Old Ridge Farm and Farming Simulator 15. It has been a couple of days. I tell you what, first I was having all the issues with Farm Sim itself, with mods and conflicts and things like that. And then yesterday, everything I recorded came out completely like crap. One of the things that happened was that Raptor, the software that I use to record Farm Sim, updated. And not only did it update, but it was a complete overhaul of the software, apparently. So what it did was it reset all my settings back to their default configuration, which means my microphone was on, the volumes were turned all the way up, so the whole video was, I was screaming again. I know you guys hate that. I hate it too. I wasn't going to release it, so no video. So I tried to record American Truck Simulator with OBS. Unfortunately, I left Raptor running in the background, which of course used up all my memory, which made a crappy video, so no ATS. So now we're back to trying Farm Sim again. I think I got my settings right. Everything seems to be back to normal now. I've done a couple test recordings, and it looks okay and it sounds okay, so we're going to go from there. One other thing I want to mention, and I've mentioned this now in 3 videos that never got released, but this one will be released, so I'm going to mention it again. I want to apologize for something I said in the last Old Ridge video. As you guys know, everything was going wrong. I was having a bit of a day, right? I was being a little BP, as the saying goes. And I said something that about, I was talking about YouTube and subscribers and things, and I was like, oh, nobody knows who you are, BP. And I didn't mean it to sound like I was ungrateful to all the 2,190 something subscribers I have, because I absolutely am. I said it offhand. It came out badly. I misspoke, and I apologize. And as I always say to you guys, when I am being an idiot, you guys can definitely let me know. And a couple people did, and I really, really appreciate that. It helped me extract my head from my ass about what I said without really meaning it. Sometimes when I'm having a bad day, stuff just comes out, and that was a misstatement by me. I appreciate every single one of you, whether you hang out on the channel and comment and talk to me personally and all that, or whether you just come and watch a video and hit the like button, and maybe hit the subscribe button. You're all equally important. You're all awesome, and thank you so much. And I want to sincerely apologize for my misstatement. I do appreciate every single one of you. I do consider you guys friends. So there you go. I wanted to make sure that I got that out. But anyway, as you can see, we're over here on field 10 on our potato field, getting ready to spray. I've sprayed a few fields already because, again, I tried to record this and it came out lousy, so some stuff got done. But I've made my list of things that need to be sprayed. It was a lot of PK, a little bit of NPK, some N, and some BB. Seems like all my fields need something this time around, which is okay, But I've done the PK. This is the last field that needs PK, and then we'll swap over to the NPK and get that, and then probably the N, and then the herbicide. That's the plan anyway. Phil was over on Meadow 8 mowing, and then he tedded, so everything's planted now. I didn't get to plant sunflowers because I didn't order the seeds in time. Sunflowers are not normally planted in this area, so Nick didn't have any sunflower seed in stock for me. So I ended up having to plant wheat over there on field 6, but that's fine. We'll do sunflowers maybe next season. It wasn't really a priority for me. It was just a test crop anyway, but we will try it again next season. So let me bring up my HUD here because I have put GPS back in the mod folder. Now, I wouldn't count too much on me doing this right. I don't use GPS a lot, as you guys know. I've used it a couple times on Norrish Home where the fields are usually straight, Old Ridge is a whole different kettle of fish, as they say, because the fields aren't straight, because it's a little difficult. It's a little different of a setup, to try to get the lines and everything right, but we'll give it a shot. Control 0, right? And then control keypad, and then the HUD needs to go away. Now, let's see. First of all, first thing we need to do is get a work width here that we can live with. That's too wide, or it's not wide enough, actually. Is that better? That's a little too wide. Why? Oh, I'm going the wrong way, right? So I want to be about there. I don't want an offset, so we need to hit that. Do I need to hit new? Yep. But that's not quite right, is it? I want to be straight. I don't want to be crooked. So how do I fix that? New direction yet again? There we go. Except I don't want to go backwards. Okay, let's try that. Let's get that started. Let's get this turned on. And let's hit cruise control, and let's see what happens. Now, obviously, I'm going to be spraying. We can get rid of courseplay for the moment. I'm going to be spraying onto the parts of the field that aren't planted, but that's okay. I'm not too worried about that. As long as I get it on the field, that's really the main thing. You see, it's 8:16 here in Old Ridge. This day, because of the 2 failed attempts at recording, started at about 5 o'clock. I fed the animals. I sold the milk. So, we've got a little bit more money than we had the last time you were with us. Not a lot, but a little bit. Me and Perry spent about 45 minutes putting the row crop wheels on the case here so we could spray. You'll have to forgive me if my voice sounds a little odd today. My tongue is acting up again. It's swollen up. I think I've narrowed it down to the fact that salt apparently affects my tongue. And, Easter was last weekend, right? And I ate a lot of ham because I really like ham. And ham is pretty salty. So I think that's what's causing it. I'm kind of like a frog. You put salt on me and I swell up, I guess. So may have to start laying off the salt. I'm almost 50 years old. Probably time to start taking care of myself a little better than I normally do. But, it's funny because the GPS thing was really, talking to Chad and talking to other people, Mike and everybody, and they're all saying, well, listen, you've got all this stuff, right? I mean, this tractor costs a lot of money, and it comes with a lot of features that, I don't use, unfortunately. So, whoops, Control W and 3, that's going to be some overlap. 3, go. Am I going to miss any there? Nope, I think that'll be okay. But yeah, all my tractors have GPS. All my tractors are modern, so they all have GPS. They all have all these features, and I never use them. So, and I remember when I bought this tractor, and Chad and one of his techs came out and walked me through it and showed me everything. Showed me, this does this and this does this. This is how you activate this. It's got GPS. It's got terrain following. It's got active traction control and and electronic diffs and all this other stuff. And to be honest, I was kind of like, because all I wanted to do was get in this bad boy and get it out on the field and see how it went, right? But, it dawned on me that my sort of hand way of doing things does not really jibe with modern farming, right? With the 21st century. To be as efficient as possible, to use, the resources that I have as efficiently as possible, to not waste money, to not waste material, to not waste fertilizer and stuff like that. I really need to start using this because that's what it was designed for. That's why it exists in the first place. So it just makes sense for me to use it. So I decided, let's go back to using GPS and or go to using GPS and see how it goes. Now, again, I'm not going to say that I'm going to do the best job in the world at this because I'm not. It's, you know what I mean? I'm still learning. I have not used it very much. So I hope I'm not missing a whole bunch. It feels like I'm missing a whole bunch. It feels like I need to be over here more. Again, right? If I just paid attention to where these lines were, everything would be fine. But, of course, BP, probably not going to do that. So, all right, Control W, get that back on, get that back on, get that back on. I'm either overlapping or I'm not spraying enough. I don't know. Again, trying to be more efficient and probably just making a big mess of it. It looks like I'm actually overlapping here, aren't I? I've already done this row, silly. Okay, we'll just drive down the end. Oh, GPS, right? I swear, by the time I actually figure it out, I could have just done the field myself. I need to break GPS off, though. One thing I'm sort of discovering about this is, the lines being the color that they are, it's a little difficult sometimes to see them, right? So getting the work widths right and all that stuff, and the thing is that GPS knows, it knows where it is, it knows how wide the equipment is that you're using and all that sort of stuff. So all I really have to do is let it do its thing, but you know me, always have to be involved and then end up screwing it up. Well, so a good thing is everything's planted. We've got everything in the ground. We've got some stuff coming up already. The soy, I wanted to get that in early. It grows fairly quickly, obviously. So because I have a delivery date to Soya UK for that. So that needs to come out of the ground. Once the soy comes out of the ground, I'll probably put some corn in over there just for forage. And talking to Mike earlier on the phone, he called me to tell me that he had picked up his forage harvester. He had mentioned that he was, going to the bank and looking at a loan and all this stuff, to do a little expansion and to pick up a forage harvester. Because he's really sort of into the BGA. He's got a good contract with them, as we all do, but not all of us do anything with it. I'd like to get more into the BGA, but I just don't have the acreage at the moment to really make it worth it. So I don't know where I want to be here. I guess I'll let GPS figure it out. Oh, do we want to be all the way over there? Okay, very good. Oh no, I don't want to spray in the street. Nope. That's not going to work. I'm going to have to fold that up. Bus stop and phone booth, right? I'm going to end up owning that bus stop and that phone booth now. All right. Fold that back out again. Even at 19 meters, I'm still catching this on stuff, huh? Go figure. Nope, that's going to hit it too. I need to be more on the field. No sense spraying this on the street. The street does not need to grow. All right, let's put that there. Let's put that on, and we'll just do this bit by hand. But yeah, so he picked up his forage harvester, and it got me thinking. Now that I've gone to sort of, bulk silage, to pit silage instead of silage bales, because of the size of the herd, obviously, I think it may not be a bad idea if I look for a forage harvester too. Now, I'm not going to go to the bank and get another big loan because I'm already in enough debt as it is. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to start hunting on the auction sites and hunting on the, used equipment sites and stuff, and see if I can find a used one that doesn't have 1 million hours on it, that's not too beat up. One of the problems is, and I think I've talked about this multiple times, is that you sort of run into an issue with choppers that they get used so much, right? Because generally the ones that you can find in the auction sites, the ones you can buy, are from contractors, and they just get used because that's how they make money, right? But so I don't know, what I'm going to be able to find, what I'm going to be able to afford. I've seen a couple that are coming up for auction pretty soon that I'm kind of interested in. So we'll see. The money, again, there's one that's going for no reserve, which is really nice because of the fact that I can turn all this off now, actually. No reserve. It's good or bad. It's good in the sense that, if there's no real interest in it, the auctioneer will lower the price down, and then you probably get it for a decent price. If there's a lot of interest in it and you get a bidding war, well, the price can shoot right up, right? And all of a sudden you're into more money than you want to be at or whatever. Great for the person selling it, not so great for the person trying to buy it. But we will see. I don't know if that's going to happen this year or not. We'll see. I probably will go to the auction that has the piece of equipment that I'm interested in. Whether or not I can actually afford to buy it, I don't know. I was giving some serious thought to selling that combine too. Talking to Chad about it, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll definitely take it," and I'm sure I can, move it pretty quickly. But I don't know. I don't know if it's cheaper in the long run to keep it, or if it's cheaper in the long run to sell it and bring in contractors to do my combining. Just because the maintenance on that thing is a lot of money. It's not old by any means, as you guys know. I bought that from Sean Blaylock. It wasn't very old when he sold it to me. I've only put probably 50 or 60 hours, 70 hours on it since I've had it. So I'm not 100% certain about, whether or not it's going to be economically feasible for me to sell it. But when it does need maintenance and it's the parts with that thing that are ridiculously expensive. So, okay. First of all, I need to refill the tanks. So let me cross off field 10 now so I don't forget. And we'll put some, field 11 north needs NPK. I guess we'll switch, since we have NPK on, we might as well switch it over to that, and we'll use that. Nope, backwards. Reverse, BP, reverse. Switch to the front tank. Switch this to NPK. I lost my icons for some reason. I don't know where my icons went. I obviously have some sort of mod conflict in my mod folder that took away my icons for my fertilizer. Not all of them, but some of them. Just the extra ones, because obviously NPK is sort of the default fertilizer, right? So that one shows up, but like the PK and the herbicides don't show up. So obviously there's something going on in my mod folder that's causing that to happen. Okay, so field 11 north, did I say? Yes. Not crash into my pressure washer. Where am I going? There's the exit. You know, you get into a rhythm of making videos, because I've pretty much made a video every day for the last about 3 months, right? And then all of a sudden you stop for a while. You know, you either take a break or things go wrong and you're not releasing videos. And all of a sudden it takes a little while to get back into sort of the, you know, the swing of it. And that's what I find myself doing today. I'm like, oh, what do I do? I forget how to, you know, how do I farm sim? Oh, or how do I record farm sim anyway? Okay, as you can see, the soy is doing pretty well. It's growing up pretty well, so now, oh, this field's a little tricky. I wonder if it wouldn't just be easier for me to do this by hand. No, use GPS, BP. We're committed to it, right? Do we need this? I can't see. It's too green. Hopefully that's the right way. I guess we will find out, won't we? B and 3, and off we go. Yeah, looks like it's going to be okay. Again, going to have a little overlap, but I guess I can live with that, so. I don't really like that too much. Can we get a little bit more on the field? I mean, the whole idea of this is efficiency, right? So can we not waste too much stuff? Why does it keep wanting to go that way? I don't understand. Where are you going? Where are you going? No, 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 no. I don't know what it's doing. Again, this is all me. It's just me being an idiot. You know what I mean? So I think for now, just because I'd like to have a good sort of recording farm sim day. You know, haven't had one in a while, so this has been a little tricky for me. So I think we'll just do it by hand. Probably be better if I raise this boom up a little bit too, huh? Plants are a little high for the boom to be that low. There we go. And we'll just do it by hand. Oh, probably help if I brought back up soil mod too. There we go. Slightly acidic. Oh well, not much I can do about that at the moment because can't spread lime on crops that are already in the ground, so we'll just have to hope that sort of figures itself out. Having a real acidity alkalinity problem this year. The only thing I can think of, and you know, talking to Mike and talking to Cuthbert and talking to the Major and a couple other people in the area, the only thing we can figure is that the drought. You know, the drought really affected the soil. So this is going to be a rebuilding year for us, you know. And once the water levels sort of normalize again, hopefully the soil conditions will go back to being normal. I could probably go a little faster, huh? This is a pretty good sized field, and I'm putting down a lot of this stuff, so. See over there, the OSR is coming up. Looking pretty good. The soy will be the first thing we harvest, and then moving on from there. So everything's staggered, you know, the way I like to do it. Just makes sense. That way I don't have everything coming up at the same time. Only have the one combine, so not like I can do a lot of stuff at the same time when it comes to that. So this is probably going to be a little laggy. This soy texture, while very nice, is a little high def, you know, and sometimes the abacus doesn't like it. So what's happening after this? Field 11 South needs N, the OSR field. Okay. I wonder if I can get away with putting NPK over there. I'll have to take a look at the PK levels and see what they're looking like. See if I can get away with putting NPK over there so I don't have to run back and switch, because then I need BB on 2 fields, so that'll be the last of the spraying. I probably should go bale the storage meadow because that's all mowed and tedded. But I don't know how long this is all going to take. I don't want to make a super long episode, you know. I just want to make an episode, basically. So that's where I'm at with that today. I really should put some tram lines in these fields, huh? Maybe we'll start that next season. Maybe next season we'll start with the tram lines and stuff. I just always hate the, you know, the little bit of yield loss I get from it. But again, it's realistic, right? So Now, because this field is narrower on this end than it is on the other end, there's definitely going to be a little bit of overlap, but that will be okay. I tell you what, the verges, the grass verges in these fields get a lot of nutrients. whether whether I try to or not. Obviously I don't try to. I'm not trying to, make the grass good over there. But because of the way that I drive and the way that I operate this stuff, it seems like the grass always gets the bulk of the nutrients. Oh, don't hit this tree. Don't hit this tree. That's why we went to a 19-meter sprayer. There we go. I got to say, our modifications to sprayer worked out pretty well. So Phil and Perry did a good job with it, as I knew they would. They're good guys. They work hard, They do what I ask them to do, so they don't complain too much. They're pretty helpful, so. If I get quiet every so often, I apologize. It's just my tongue. It's acting up, and it's bothering me a little bit. But by God, I was going to muscle through all the problems I've been having with, with recording softwares and with Farm Sim and everything else. And I was going to make a video. That's all there was to it. There was going to be no messing around. I wanted to make a video, and I'm making one. Okay, so that's done. Now, turn that off. Now, can we possibly get away with putting NPK over here? Am I going to have to go swap again? Oh, the PK is really high. Really, really high. No, going to have to go swap. Okay, that's fine. Probably going to turn the beacons on, too, when I'm going down the road, huh? I forgot to do that last time. Whoops. So we will go swap this over for N, get that field sprayed, and then do the BB, and that will be everything sprayed. So. The alkalinity is coming down in the home fields and on field 10 too, which is good. It's not down enough just yet for me to be happy with, but it's down more than, at one point it was really high, so. And there's really no fix for that, except to just let the soil sort of reset itself. That was my own fault for putting down too much lime. So, gonna have to live with it this year. Whatever the yield is the yield. Luckily, it's a big field, so it shouldn't be too awful. I hope not, anyway. Because I'd really like to be able to buy a field this year, and of course I want to buy that forage harvester too. So we haven't been able to buy a field because we just haven't had the money. Okay, so I need to switch this to N, correct? N, yep. PK, N. See, I don't know why the icons have disappeared. It's very strange. And I should have enough in the tank. I shouldn't have to refill it. So let me just cross this off so I don't forget that I did that. Oh, I did. Okay, very good. Very good. So off the field 11 south for the N now. I wouldn't have thought N would have ever been a problem, because of the green manure, because of the N that I had in the fields. But OSR is taking a lot of N out of those fields, and I need to replace it. Because I believe this will be one of the fields that gets winter barley after, I'd have to have a look at my crop rotation, but I think this is one of the fields that gets winter barley after this OSR comes up. Whoa, what am I hitting? Oh, yep, I forgot. I have the boom up. And that's making the, and I can't lower it when it's, I can't lower it because I'm not on it. Yeah. The boom's up, and it's catching on those tree branches. Jeez. That just scared the hell out of me. All right, we'll get this down. Boom needed to come down anyway because OSR is not as grown as the soy is. So. Again, just going to do this by hand. I'll have a play around with GPS. I'll use it more in Nourish Home, and that'll probably get me more used to it so I can actually use it correctly. All right, here we go. I believe it's just the icons that are acting up because it looks like it's going down on the field, and if I bring up the if I go through the I menu, the Alt-I menu in Soil Mod, it shows that there's actually stuff going down on the field. So it's just the icons. I don't know what's causing that. I'll have to have a look. I need to go through my mod folder anyway. I'm sure it happens to you guys too. You just download so much stuff, right? And whether you use it or not, it sits in the mod folder. And the game is reading it. And if there's a conflict, even if it's not in the game, it's still going to pop up. And I have a lot of stuff in my mod folder that I'm probably, for this map, because I have a mod folder for each map I play on, that I'm probably never going to use. So it's probably time to get rid of it, streamline that mod folder a little bit. Always a good idea. This field's slightly acidic too. But again, it's only slightly acidic. Can't put lime down once crops are in the ground. So it's going to have to wait till next year. Well, at least until, we start cultivating these fields and everything. So. See, the end on this half of the field isn't bad, so now this is going to bump the end way up. But the end on the other side of the field isn't great, so that's why I wanted to put it down. It's always something, huh? Yeah, it's kind of funny how the the nutrient levels. I can remember Soil Mod when it first came out for Farming Simulator 13. You would get the fields would sort of be consistent. You know what I mean? If you were low on N on one side of the field, you'd be low on N on the other side of the field. Same with acidity. Same with there was no soil moisture back then, but the numbers would be the same across the field. Now it's changed. The grid sizes have changed, I believe. And of course, it's more realistic because in real life, real fields are not the same from one end to the other, especially gigantic fields, right? But it's a little tricky now because I'm like, I don't need the N over here, but I need it over here. So you end up spot spraying, which is fine in real life when you have, computer control and you can sort of set it up to say, okay, well, I need a higher flow, I need a higher rate here than I need here. Well, you can't really do that in Farm Sim. So you kind of have to blanket the field regardless. Now look how low the N is over here. 1%, 2%. I mean, I don't understand, but we're going to try to rectify it because I really need this OSR to pay off. This is going to be my money crop, as it were. So, and probably something we move more towards. Planting, maybe less barley and more OSR. So, okay, that's done. Now let me just stop here so I can cross that off the list. Otherwise, I will forget that I did it. There we go. That's done. And now we need to go swap to some BB. Okay, very good. Get off the field. I noticed I have almost 64 hours on this tractor. Wow, I didn't think I've had it that long, but apparently I have. I know I just broke 100 on the other case on the Puma, so these tractors been around for a while. Do a lot of work. Do a lot of work. Still hemming and hawing about the case, whether I want to sell it or not, or not. Well, yeah, sell it, but trade it in, for something. Chad's like, hey, I got all kinds of stuff for you to look at. Just let me know when you're ready. But. Oh, so I came to an agreement with Mike about buying my sheep. I don't know if I mentioned this or not. I know I've mentioned it in a couple of my failed video attempts here, but I don't know if I've mentioned it to you guys that I've decided to sell the sheep. I just think that with the size of my dairy herd, it doesn't make sense to have another animal that is eating all my grass. You know what I mean? So I think we're going to get, well, I don't think, we're going to get rid of the sheep. We're going to sell them to Mike because I know he's been wanting to increase his flock for a while now. I only have 30, they're not going to make me a ton of money, and they cost a bunch of money. And it really needs to be time to start consolidating the money that I'm spending versus the money that I'm bringing in. I need to reverse the trend of spending a lot of money and not bringing a lot in. So I'm going to sell the sheep to Mike. We're going to come to an agreement on a price, and then he'll come and pick them up, and then the sheep will be gone. And obviously we'll still have the beef animals. We'll still have the beef cows, we'll still have the pigs, so because they're a moneymaker. I need to sell pigs and beef, actually. I have sheds full of them, so. Let's see, I need to put this on BB, which is not going to show up, of course. But The writing shows up. It's just the pictures that don't show up. And I don't know why that is. But I will hopefully determine that. Oh. Oh, it's full enough. It's full enough. I was going to fill it back up, but you know what? It's pretty full. So, where are we going? Field 3, 5, and 6. So they're all this way. Okay. I think we'll bail in the next episode because this episode's going a little long. And this is, again, Martin Gardner's absolutely correct suggestion about getting, one thing done per episode. So if we can get this done, and then we can go on to bailing instead of, getting this done in half finishing the bailing or whatever. So have 2 fields to bail, have bales to pick up. I still have bales to stack because I've not gotten to that yet. So, okay. Because this stuff just got planted, it needs some herbicide. So I'm going to start using some, instead of post-emerge treatment of herbicide, I'm going to start doing it pre-emerge. Probably after the fields are all cultivated and the seed beds are prepared and everything, I'll probably start spraying herbicide on them before I plant instead of waiting for the weeds to show up like I normally do. I think that would be more efficient in the long run. But yeah, the drought doesn't affect the weeds. Well, I guess that's why they're weeds, right? They're very resilient. They can live through just about anything. So that's the other reason you gotta rotate your crops and put in break crops and things to break the weed cycle, to break the weeds sort of persistence, and also to sort of cut down on the weed, the herbicide resistance that they develop after a while. So. I've said this a bunch of times too. I would love to go fully organic, except that, for me, for the size of my operation, it just doesn't make sense. If I didn't spray herbicide and I had to come in and cultivate between the rows, which is very difficult to do in, things like wheat and barley, it just wouldn't be as efficient, as for me to just come in here and spray some chemicals. So I do try to limit my chemical use as best I can, but, there's always going to be, with my operation, there's always going to be some chemical use because I just can't have the weeds overtaking my fields and reducing my yield. Nick is actually having a seminar about herbicide and about herbicide resistance and about how herbicides work and what they do and what they're how they affect your soil and everything. He's having a seminar at his place, and I'm thinking I'm going to go to that. I am obviously certified for herbicide application. You have to be if you're going to use it on your farm, in a commercial environment like this. But I think it wouldn't be bad to go to this seminar and maybe learn some new techniques or learn some new things. Some things that I don't know. I don't know everything, obviously. So it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to go learn some stuff. He does stuff like that, quite a few times a year to kind of teach the farmers, things that, new techniques and, things that he's learned and things that, his people have taught him, the people he buys herbicides and fertilizers and seeds from and everything, because they're always coming up with new techniques and new items and new processes and things like that. So he stays on top of it. I think it's a good idea that I stay on top of it as well. Plus, he always has the best coffee and he has the best pastries. He's got the best Danishes at his place I've ever eaten, and he won't tell me where he gets them from. So, I mean, the pub over here makes the best bread you ever want to eat, and they do a good job at muffins too. But Nick has some Danish that and he won't tell me where he gets them. Nick, where do you get those Danish from? I want to buy about 700 dozen of those Danish, and just keep them. Oh. Now, again, get it on the field and not on the grass. Okay, now we can, I should probably fold that up. Otherwise, I'm going to catch it on the hedge. So. I was going to take these hedges down, but I decided, you know what, we'll leave them, right? You know, no sense. I don't want to. I say this all the time, but I like to take down as few hedges as absolutely possible. So, but I needed to fix these fields. They were just too awkward, and this one's even a little awkward too. And I've been thinking about squaring this one off and after this harvest, squaring it off at the top, you know, to get rid of this sort of curve. But I don't know. I might leave it the way it is. The less you know, move the soil around, the better it is. I would love to go to full no-till on everything, but unfortunately my soil is not, you really got to have good soil for that, you know. And my soil, although it's very good, is maybe not good enough to go complete no-till where I don't have to turn the soil at all. You know, again, you know, no-till is sort of becoming the way, right? I know there's a few farmers in the area who are going to full no-till. Because, you know, every time you break up the soil, every time you turn it and stuff, you're affecting it. And the less you can work it, the happier it's going to be. But I just don't know if I have the right soil type for that. And again, you know, maybe that's something me and Nick can talk about when I go to the seminar. Because I think Nick knows my soil better than I do, which is not good, right, as a farmer? Do not get any of this over there in the reservoir. Like, I probably won't. I won't put manure on this field at all because of its proximity to the reservoir over there. I don't want the runoff concern. So certainly don't want to put a bunch of nitrates in you know, in a water source. Now, this is going to be a little awkward, but okay. Turn that off. Turn around. Soil compaction much? Yeah. See why I don't use crop destruction? Can you imagine the tram lines I would have just now? Okay, so that's field 6. So we got field 5. I'm sorry, that's 5 and 6. So all that leaves is 3. And that'll be all the herbicide spraying for now. Oh, looks like we missed a bunch here. Oh, Phil, what are you doing to me, Phil? Okay. Fold that up, go do field 3, and that will be that. Got to turn the beacons on because we're going to be crossing the street. Keep forgetting that's in reverse. Oh, coffee. Thank God for coffee, huh? Especially when my day starts at 4 o'clock in the morning here in Old Ridge, so. As you would expect it to, you know, cows got to eat, and, you know, straw needs to be replaced, and milk needs to be emptied out of the tank, and lots and lots and lots and lots of stuff to do. Turn the beacons off. Get this weed over here too, as I mentioned before. So, you know, mostly for straw, to be honest. You know, the acreage of wheat that I have is not really, it's not so much of a money crop, you know what I mean? It's really more for, obviously it brings in a little bit of money, but it's really more for straw. The weeds have not had a chance to take hold of this field yet, so hopefully this will stop that from happening. This is almost a pre-emerge application. So. And I'm sure Nick will go over that in his seminar too about, you know, the benefits of pre-emerge versus post-emerge. You know, I'd love to be able to do it one pass, you know, where I maybe spray pre-emerge before I sow, you know, and then not have to deal with it again for the rest of the season. A, it would save a lot of money. B, it would save wear and tear on the equipment. C, it would save, you know, putting down a bunch of chemicals during the course of the year that could possibly run off and everything. Oh, looks like we got some weeds taking hold over here already. Doesn't take long, does it? Weeds, they are the most persistent of things. If I was a weed farmer, I'd do just fine. I was thinking that if I got into corn more, if I grew more corn, and to sell corn as a consumption item, the money's just not great. It just doesn't. Again, you'd have to grow a lot of it, as is everywhere in the world, right? America grows, millions and millions of acres of corn. But for me, I don't have the acreage to really make it worth it to grow as a consumption crop, and then I'd have to invest in some more equipment because you kind of got to side dress corn, and but so I don't think I'd see myself doing that. But corn is a good no-till crop, though. You can drill corn through some pretty trashy seed beds, and it doesn't mind too much. Soy is another good, no-till crop. Wheat too, if you use the right, species, the right variety of it, and you can get the populations right. You can get the head count right and everything, depending on how trashy your seed bed actually is. Oh, this is where I wouldn't mind having a 24-meter sprayer. Go figure, right? I'm like, oh, the 24 meters too big, the 19 meters too small. Never happy, VP, are you? It's going to be a fairly long episode, but you know what? I'm okay with that, just because of the fact that, again, we've gotten something done. We've gotten one thing that needed to be done. And then in the next episode, we can bale. We'll have 2 fields to bale. That'll probably take a little while between baling them and picking up the bales and everything. And then we'll move on to the next thing. And I'm sure by then that some of my fields will need additional treatments of something. So. What I want to do is I'm going to run to the end here. I'm going to catch this bit, and then I will turn it off and turn around. There we go. Oh, turn. Luckily, this case has a very good turning circle, as you can see by the scar it left in the field. Oh, the case needs fuel. Everything needs fuel. Fuel. That's where the money is, right? Fuel and labor. I mean, and chemicals, that costs money too. So, it all costs money. It's just the balance of how much it costs versus how much it brings in. If I don't do this, it affects my yield. I don't make as much money. So if by doing this, the yield offsets the cost of doing it, then it's worth it. If it doesn't, then it's not. And I really need to take a closer look at, what this all costs to do versus what it actually makes. Another thing I can talk to Nick about at the seminar, I guess. I missed a little bit over here. So we will go ahead and catch that, and then we will call this an episode. There we go. And get you, and turn that off, fold it up. So there you go, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Again, I apologize for my misstatement in the last Old Ridge episode. I do not consider, I don't think any of you are nobodies. I don't think I'm a nobody. I consider all of you friends. I am internally grateful to every single one of you who come and watch a video. Let me shut that off. Who come and watch a video, who click the like button, who click the subscribe button, who leave me comments, who tell me when I'm being an idiot. Thank you so much. That means everything to me. Video should return on a regular basis now. I think I'm over my software and other issues, so I think we're back to making videos on a daily basis now. And thanks for your patience, and thanks as always for your support. Thanks for coming to this channel, for liking, for commenting, for subscribing, for checking me out on the social medias. All that stuff, guys. It means everything to me. Thank you so very much, and thank you for making me a part of your YouTube day. And this is the Bipolar Prophet saying, see you later.